What happens when the internet's golden boy crashes and burns so hard even his millions of followers can't save him? How does a guy who turns 6-second videos into a multi-million-dollar empire go from viral king to the punchline of every meme overnight? You thought Logan Paul was untouchable, the unstoppable content machine, the boxer turned energy drink tycoon with fans eating out of his hand. But what if I told you all that fame and fortune is now slipping through his fingers, faster than you can say NFT scam? Yeah, buckle up, because the biggest digital drama of the decade just exploded right in front of us. Brace yourselves as we dive deep into the scandal that's shaking the internet to its core, exposing the shocking truths behind Logan's empire and why his name is now synonymous with betrayal, broken promises, and a legacy on the edge of total collapse. Ready to see how a YouTube legend became the ultimate cautionary tale? Let's get into it. The saga of Logan Paul's fall from grace is not just another celebrity scandal, but a full-blown disaster unfolding live for the entire internet to witness. Logan Paul was once the undisputed king of digital content, a man whose influence stretched across millions of screens worldwide, whose energy was unmatched, and whose bank account reflected his massive success. From wild stunts to viral videos, Logan built an empire that seemed unstoppable. However, beneath the dazzling lights and roaring crowds lay a man driven by reckless ambition and a hunger for fame that blinded him to the consequences of his actions. The story begins with a cautionary tale of how someone who started with 6-second clips on Vine skyrocketed to superstardom, only to stumble spectacularly. Vine was where Logan first found his audience, captivating millions with his high-octane videos filled with humor and adrenaline. When Vine collapsed, most stars faded away. But Logan pivoted swiftly to YouTube, where his channel exploded with tens of millions of subscribers and billions of views. He wasn't just a content creator anymore. He became a global brand with a net worth in the hundreds of millions. Yet all that success came with a price. Logan's early brush with infamy came from his reckless choice to film a video in Japan's Aokigahara forest, also known as the Suicide Forest. Instead of showing respect, he treated a tragic scene as mere content fodder, turning a solemn moment into a shocking spectacle that horrified viewers and sparked an international backlash. The video quickly became one of the most infamous incidents in internet history, damaging his reputation beyond repair. YouTube itself reacted harshly, suspending ads on his channel and removing him from preferred programs. Logan's apologies followed but were seen as insincere by many, revealing a pattern of damage control rather than genuine remorse. That incident was the first crack in the armor, a warning sign of a man whose drive for attention would soon lead him down even darker paths. As Logan continued to chase bigger and bolder projects, his eyes turned to the fast-evolving world of cryptocurrency and NFTs. This new frontier promised quick riches and viral potential, exactly the kind of high gamble someone like Logan Paul couldn't resist. CryptoZoo was pitched as his latest passion project, a blockchain game where players could buy NFT eggs, hatch fantastical creatures, and trade them for profit. On the surface, it looked like the perfect combination of Logan's showmanship and the crypto craze sweeping the world. His millions of followers were eager to jump in, trusting the star's endorsement and dreaming of striking it rich in this shiny new digital gold rush. But the glitter quickly faded. Behind the scenes, CryptoZoo was a house of cards built on hype and empty promises. The development team was riddled with questionable characters, including individuals with murky reputations and accusations of financial misconduct. Logan, ever the opportunist, seemed more interested in promoting sales and raking in money than ensuring the project was solid. As thousands of fans poured their savings into the NFTs and tokens, many found themselves locked out of the promised gameplay or left holding worthless digital assets. The website went offline, the token value plummeted by over 90%, and panic swept through the community. Investors cried foul, realizing that what had been sold as a revolutionary game was little more than a scam dressed in flashy graphics and Logan's big name. Leaked messages revealed that the project used stock photos instead of original artwork and that internal costs ballooned while the actual product barely existed. Whispers of misappropriated funds and insider profiteering floated around like smoke, while Logan remained largely silent or deflective. When confronted by critics and watchdogs, his responses ranged from blaming team members to threatening legal action, tactics that only fueled public suspicion. The fallout was swift and brutal. Fans who once cheered his every move found themselves financially and emotionally betrayed. Many had invested life savings, trusting Logan's reputation as a sign of safety and legitimacy. Instead, they faced devastating losses and a broken promise. Online forums flooded with stories of ruined finances and shattered trust. The scandal caught the attention of the media, regulators, and law enforcement. Class action lawsuits piled up, demanding accountability and reparations. The FBI quietly opened investigations into allegations of securities fraud and money laundering. The SEC stepped in to question Logan and his associates. The once gleaming star was now at the center of a growing legal and reputational maelstrom. What makes this fall even more shocking is how quickly Logan went from being an icon of youthful success and boundless energy to a symbol of greed and recklessness. His past controversies like the Aokigahara video showed a reckless disregard for consequences, but the CryptoZoo scandal revealed a deeper betrayal, one of trust, ethics, and responsibility to his audience. This is not just a story about a failed project or a bad business deal. It is a stark reminder of the dangers when fame meets unchecked ambition and when millions of impressionable fans put blind faith in personalities without scrutinizing the risks. Logan's rise and fall expose the fragility of influencer culture in the digital age. It highlights how easy it is for power and money to corrupt, and how devastating the consequences can be for those who follow without question. The truth is harsh. Logan Paul did not just lose a business opportunity, he lost his credibility, his fans' trust, and perhaps more importantly, the chance to be a positive force in the very community that once elevated him. His story is a mirror reflecting the darker side of internet celebrity, where fame is fleeting, and the price of mistakes is astronomical. It's a cautionary tale for creators and consumers alike, urging everyone to look beyond the surface glamour and question what lies beneath. For now, Logan remains under intense scrutiny, his every move analyzed and questioned. The digital empire he built on fast videos and bold stunts is now overshadowed by allegations, lawsuits, and investigations. Fans are left wondering if the once unstoppable force of nature has finally met its match in the harsh realities of responsibility and accountability. The questions linger. Can Logan Paul rebuild? Is redemption possible after such a fall? Or is this the end of the line for a star who burned too brightly and too recklessly? Only time will tell. The unraveling of Logan Paul's CryptoZoo scandal reveals a labyrinth of deception and extravagance that many would find hard to believe if it weren't backed by leaked documents and insider testimonies. Sources close to the project describe a world of lavish spending and wild mismanagement cloaked behind a shiny digital facade. It turns out that while fans were busy buying NFT eggs and dreaming of crypto riches, Logan and his associates were living large, indulging in excessive luxuries funded by the money pouring in. Rumors suggest private jets, designer wardrobes, and opulent parties financed by the very funds meant for game development. Anonymous insiders paint a picture of a chaotic operation where accountability was a joke and decisions were made based on personal gain rather than the project's success. One source described it as a wild west of crypto, where the line between business and personal indulgence blurred into oblivion. But it wasn't just about reckless spending. Reports leaked from internal chats expose a toxic environment, rife with corruption and backdoor deals. Allegations flew that some team members manipulated token prices to cash out before the inevitable crash. One whistleblower claimed that prices were pumped artificially to lure in more investors, and then dumped at the top for massive profits. Investors who trusted the project were left holding digital bags worth pennies on the dollar. The most damning evidence surfaced when CoffeeZilla, the well-known YouTube investigator, released a series of videos backed by undeniable proof. Screenshots, emails, and private messages revealed that the project's art was never original but stolen stock images passed off as exclusive NFTs. The lead developer, Zach Kelling, openly admitted that the team had to hire dozens of engineers at a staggering weekly cost. Yet the game itself was just a hollow shell with no real gameplay or functional mechanics. Despite all this, Logan Paul remained publicly bullish about CryptoZoo, promoting it as his passion and insisting on its potential. Yet behind the scenes, he seemed to be distancing himself from the operational mess, often blaming his partners, especially Eddie Ibanez, a figure described in some circles as a professional con artist. The blame game added fuel to the fire, making it difficult for fans to know whom to trust. Social media exploded with outrage as news of the scandal spread. Forums, Reddit threads, and Twitter timelines became battlegrounds where investors vented their frustration and shared stories of financial ruin. The fallout was swift and ruthless, with many calling for Logan's complete boycott. Some fans felt personally betrayed, having placed their faith in the man who once inspired them. "I invested everything I had because I believed in Logan," one user wrote. "Now I'm left with nothing but a screen full of lies." Public opinion shifted dramatically from adulation to condemnation, and mainstream media outlets jumped on the story, branding CryptoZoo as one of the most notorious NFT scams to date. News anchors and financial commentators questioned the accountability of influencers who promote such risky ventures without due diligence. The scandal sparked a wider conversation about the blurred lines between entertainment and investment, and the responsibility that internet celebrities owe to their audiences. Meanwhile, legal pressures mounted. Several class action lawsuits were filed by groups of investors seeking millions in damages, accusing Logan and his team of orchestrating a rug pull, a deliberate scheme to defraud and abandon a project. After collecting substantial funds, these lawsuits alleged that not only was there gross mismanagement, but active deceit and manipulation at the highest levels. Authorities began taking notice too. FBI quietly opened investigations into the project, probing possible securities fraud and money laundering. The SEC got involved, subpoenaing documents and summoning Logan and his partners for questioning. While official statements have been sparse, insiders say the investigations are thorough and ongoing. The mere fact that such powerful agencies are engaged signals the gravity of the situation and the potential legal jeopardy facing Logan and his associates. The crypto world, known for its volatility and frequent scandals, saw this case as a cautionary tale of how celebrity endorsements can dangerously mislead millions. For many, Logan's downfall epitomizes the worst excesses of influencer culture, where charisma and popularity can mask incompetence and greed. The more Logan tried to defend himself publicly, the deeper the hole seemed to get. His attempts to shift blame and issue conditional apologies did little to calm the storm. Critics accused him of playing the victim and dodging real accountability. Fans grew disillusioned and began demanding transparency, refunds, and answers. Meanwhile, some of the project's key players quietly vanished from public view, leaving investors in the lurch. The image of Logan Paul as a trailblazer and fearless innovator has been replaced with that of a reckless entrepreneur willing to gamble with other people's money for personal gain. This scandal has not only affected his financial empire but has severely tarnished his personal brand, leaving many wondering if recovery is even possible. The truth is, trust once shattered is incredibly difficult to rebuild, especially in the harsh light of public scrutiny. Logan's story stands as a warning to all those who chase fame and fortune without considering the ethical implications of their actions. The fallout from CryptoZoo is more than just a business failure, it is a social and cultural crisis that forces us to question the very nature of influence and responsibility in the digital age. What once seemed like a harmless fun project has exposed deep flaws in the system that allows celebrities to promote financial products without proper oversight or accountability. The consequences will reverberate far beyond Logan Paul's immediate circle, affecting how influencers and their audiences interact in the future. Investors will be more cautious, regulators more vigilant, and the public more skeptical. Logan's empire, once thought invincible, is now a case study in the dangers of unchecked ambition and misplaced trust. The fallout continues to unfold, with every new revelation, and the internet watches with bated breath as the story spirals into a complex web of lies, greed, and legal battles. This is not just a scandal, it is a reckoning, as the dust settled from the whirlwind of accusations and revelations. Logan Paul found himself at the epicenter of a storm that threatened not just his career but his very freedom. The legal pressure intensified rapidly, as multiple lawsuits piled up, painting a grim picture of a man seemingly willing to gamble with millions of people's money without regard for the consequences. The class action suits accused Logan and his closest collaborators of orchestrating a deliberate scheme to mislead investors. An allegation so serious that it brought federal agencies rushing to intervene. The FBI investigation, shrouded in secrecy, was said to be probing deeply into allegations of securities fraud and money laundering, a serious charge that could carry heavy penalties. Meanwhile, the Securities and Exchange Commission was not far behind, demanding answers and evidence, scrutinizing every transaction, every promotion, and every public statement made about CryptoZoo. The courtroom battles promised to be lengthy and brutal, exposing intimate details of a scandal that gripped the internet and the financial world alike. Public sentiment, already fractured, hardened further as new details emerged of lavish parties funded by the proceeds of the NFT sales, and private jets used for escapades far removed from the concerns of the disgruntled investors. Social media, once a platform for celebration of Logan's antics, transformed into a relentless forum of criticism and mockery. Memes and harsh commentary flooded every corner of the internet, and what was once a loyal fanbase fractured into factions of deniers, defenders, and haters. Industry insiders whispered about possible corporate shakeups, with rumors swirling of potential resignations within Logan's business ventures and partnerships dissolving in the face of overwhelming backlash. Sponsors began to distance themselves cautiously, unwilling to be tainted by association as brands weighed the cost of supporting a figure embroiled in controversy. Meanwhile, the financial impact on Logan's empire was staggering. The value of his endorsements plummeted, and investors reevaluated their associations with influencer-led ventures. The fall from grace was not just symbolic but real and measurable, shaking the very foundations of Logan Paul's financial and social standing. Yet amid the chaos, Logan remained defiantly in the spotlight, attempting to regain control of the narrative. His public statements vacillated between contrition and defiance, with carefully crafted apologies that many dismissed as damage control rather than heartfelt regret. Attempts to initiate buybacks and compensate investors were seen by critics as too little, too late, with legal experts questioning the sincerity and legality of offers that required recipients to waive their rights to sue. The saga also reignited a broader debate on the responsibilities of influencers in an era where their recommendations can sway markets and lives. Experts argued that this scandal exposed a regulatory vacuum, allowing celebrities to promote complex, financial products without adequate consumer protections. The fallout from CryptoZoo became a case study in how digital fame can be weaponized for personal gain at the expense of vulnerable fans and investors. In the midst of this turmoil, questions about Logan Paul's future loomed large. Would he be able to rebuild his reputation, or was this scandal the final nail in the coffin of his public career? Some insiders speculated about a possible comeback, arguing that the internet has a short memory and that with the right strategy, Logan could reinvent himself once again. Others remain skeptical, warning that the scale of the betrayal and the legal consequences might prove insurmountable. The wider influencer community watched closely, aware that the outcome of this case could set precedents for accountability and ethics in the digital age. Logan's story, marked by rapid rises and devastating falls, serves as a cautionary tale for anyone tempted by the seductive power of fame and fortune, without considering the weight of responsibility that comes with it. As the investigation continues and legal battles unfold, one thing remains clear: the age of influencer immunity is over. The days when internet celebrities could act without consequence are fading fast. Fans, regulators, and the public at large are demanding transparency, honesty, and accountability. Logan Paul's empire may have been built on viral content and charisma, but it is now being tested in the harshest arenas of law and public opinion. The consequences of his actions ripple beyond his own fate, challenging the entire ecosystem of digital influence and finance. As the world watches closely, the final chapters of this saga are still unwritten, but the lessons are unmistakable. Trust is fragile, and when broken, it can bring down even the mightiest of internet empires. So, what do you think about Logan Paul's spectacular fall from internet royalty to a cautionary tale no one can ignore? Is this the end of his career, or just another scandal in a long line of controversies that he might somehow bounce back from? Are influencers really held accountable for the damage they cause when chasing quick money and viral fame? Or is this just the cost of doing business? In the digital age, it's time to wake up and ask ourselves who we choose to trust in this world where the lines between entertainment, investment, and manipulation blur more every day. Don't just sit back and watch the drama unfold. Think critically about who you follow and what they promote. Your money and your trust are on the line. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What's your take on Logan's downfall? Should he be forgiven or held fully responsible? Hit that like button if you want more deep dives into the wild world of internet scandals and influencer controversies. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss out when we expose the truth behind the headlines. Stay sharp and stay skeptical, because in this digital jungle, only the informed survive.